Fitzgerald. Okay, and we'll turn the meeting over to Bill James.
Oh, good afternoon, everyone, and I apologize for barging in like a bull in a china closet. I didn't read the notes that you're in the middle of a board meeting, but I'm not known to be graceful when I come in, but so happy to see everyone here. And our presentation this evening is going to be on my favorite apps. So if I can share my screen, we'll get started here.
Would also request that if anybody's got their mic on, that go ahead and mute those until you have a question. And if the little film strip that's on the side of your screen right now is a real pain, you can either click the little flat line to shrink it and then move it around, or go up to your view options at the top of your screen and click on the hide the video panel. That's just what I do.
All right. My favorite apps. I don't know, I got started with this probably many years ago when I got my first smartphone. And it was a Windows phone, believe it or not, at that time. Microsoft had come out with a phone that would run Windows, and the applications were mimicked what was available at that time in Windows 7. And I was amazed at all the things I could possibly do with it. And I started looking for applications that I could use on a mobile device. So that's really what got me started in using my my phone as more as a computer than an actual phone. So today, that's where we are. I have since moved on from Microsoft, a Windows phone rather, to an Android phone. But our presentation today is really applicable to any smartphone, and that could be an Android, an Apple device, and if there's still some Windows phones around, that too. But the thing about applying or using rather a phone as a mobile device is selecting the right apps to make a phone multifunctional device. Today, any smartphone is really capable with interfacing with other IoT devices, whether they are Android, Apple, or a Windows device. But you'll find today that these apps that are available to you are becoming more cross-platform. They're run on Windows, they're run on an Apple device, and they're run on an Android. For example, on my smartphone, I have a Microsoft Edge browser. I also have Microsoft mobile apps, and I use those interchangeably. Whatever I do on my phone, also I can access from my other devices as well. So your phone can really be multifunctional, because you can find the same apps that I make a point that any app that I have on my desktop, I try to find a compatible app to install on my other devices. For our presentation today, we're going to talk, I've divided it into 10 different groups: productivity, communications, home automation, shopping, remote control, entertainment, games, medical, financial, communication, news, and weather. There are apps for each one of these different categories, and I will just briefly go over an example of one particular. There are different, if you go to the applicable stores for your device, you'll find a multitude of applications to choose from. And I think we know what a mobile phone happens to be. It's one that performs many functions of a computer. They typically have a touchscreen interface, internet access, and a operating system capable of running downloaded applications. And of course, they're portable, easy to carry in your pocket. When we talk about applications, we're talking about a piece of software that can run on the internet,
What's the
your
matter?
computer, or your phone, or any other electronic device. In modern use, most people refer to apps as applications or software programs that specifically run on phones or other mobile devices and rely on the internet or cloud. So you notice that the change has occurred even in our desktop or computers, that programs are referred to as apps rather than programs. So the apps that I'm using in this presentation are available from the Google Play Store, and that's because I have an Android phone. But you can find Apple applications in what they refer to as the App Store. But it's quite simple. You just go to the store and you can do a search to find which apps that you're interested in. Some are free and some you have to pay for. For all of these accounts, you need to be able to access, you will have to access them using an account. In the case of Google, the Google Play Store, you have to use your Gmail account, which you already possibly have when you purchase your Android phone. They ask you to provide that an email address to set up your account. Most people will use, if you already have a Gmail account, all you need is that as a user ID and the password that you use to access your mail. And if you haven't, if you do not have one, you need to set one up, or you can go through the procedure to recover that account. So our first category is productivity, and this is a part that has the most interest to me because I think I use this more than I do anything. And the reason why is because I have downloaded the Microsoft Mobile Office. It's a free application for both Apple devices and Android. It consists of Word, Excel, PowerPoint. And the thing that makes this really nice is that if you get an email and you have a Word document attached, you'll be able to access and read that in its native format. So there's no need to really try to download or do anything because the application is already on your phone. It will recognize it and it'll come up in the appropriate application, whether it's a Word document, Excel, or PowerPoint. And if you subscribe to the Office 365, you can install the entire Office suite on your smartphone. And the thing that makes all this possible is using cloud storage. You can download them, these to maximize your phone storage capability. And they're really ideal for saving and sharing your pictures and documents when you're on the go. And syncing is really seamless. So if you have the application on your desktop, you just save it to that particular storage location, and you can access that from any device. And just for example, you can have Dropbox, OneDrive, or Google Drive. I use the Adobe Acrobat Reader because that's a PDF reader that I'm familiar with. There are others available that you can download and install and use those. And the phone will recognize the .pdf extension and bring it up in whatever app that you have installed to read PDFs. Cloud printing is something that's available where it allows you to be able to print your documents or your emails from your phone. And if you have a cloud print or AirPrint ready printer, and those are available from Epson, Kodak, and they're usually identified on the box that it's a cloud ready printer. But even some of the old printers, you can go out and download applications that will allow that printer to connect to your smartphone. Now, of course, these are typically done through your wireless network. And some of the ones that are available, you can use the HP ePrint, Epson, Canon. These apps are specifically available for in the Google Play Store, and they will seamlessly connect between your phone and your printer wirelessly. As for browsers, you don't have to be stuck with the default browser that's built into your phone. For instance, if you have a iPhone, you'd have the Safari browser. If you have an Android phone, you have the Chrome browser. But that doesn't keep you from downloading the Firefox Mobile or Microsoft Edge. Those are both available for both your Android devices as well as your Apple devices. And some other ones that you may not know about is Opera. Those are available, and all these will work on your phone, and you can have more than one browser just like you do on your desktop or laptop computer. All smartphones have something that's called location services. And the whole idea behind that is that if you're using your phone as a GPS, it has a way to know, to pinpoint your location. A lot of people use their phones now as GPS when they're in their car. And one of the nice things about using your phone as a GPS, it's always up to date. It doesn't require discs. There's no subscription fees. And I always leave my location services on. But if you're concerned about privacy, and you can always go in and turn that off in the settings, but you just have to remember to turn it back on when you get ready to use it. Of course, the favorite of mine is using Google Maps. I think they're by far gives the best experience, but actually Bing, it doesn't do a bad job either. And both of those are available for the Android and the iPhone. I think it's a user preference. And a good thing is what you do in either one on your desktop. Say, for instance, you can plan a trip on your desktop and save it to Bing or Google. And when you go to your phone, you can pull that up. You don't have to actually do anything. The desktop app will update the mobile app. Your calendar, I wish I could get more accustomed to keeping using my calendar. I keep stuff on it, but then I don't always go and look at it. But the calendar apps for the Android phone work with the one that you have installed on your desktop. And so you can go in and schedule everything there, and it will sync with your mobile device. And if you notice, sometimes when you receive an invitation through Gmail, it will give you the opportunity to save that to your calendar. And when you do so, that updates not only the calendar on your desktop, but also on your phone. You can also create a to-do list and use the reminders and set reminders for those events that you don't want to miss. One of the things that I really found out about totally by accident, and that's what I refer to as the mobile passport. And when I was traveling out of the country, this became really very handy. And the things about it is that, as you know, when you come into back to the United States, you have to make a declaration as to what you're bringing back into the country. And they usually will pass out forms for you to fill out as you are approaching your destination. To use this, rather than use the paper documents they give you, you can use the app that's on your phone and fill this out. And it has all the information that's on the paper documents, except this is electronic. And when you get to your port of entry, just look for that icon that you see at the top, the little guy with that's pointing. You'll find those signs in your customs area, and you just follow the signs rather than go into the huge line usually, which is a large room that has scanners to read your passport. You just go through this dedicated line and you go immediately to the customs official. You still have to show your passport, but you rather than give him the papers, he'll just scan your QR code that shows up on your phone once you complete the information. And it really gives you access to the custom officials quicker, and you're out of there. You don't have to wait in line with the other people. Many people don't know about this, so the line is very short. Likewise, the United States Postal Service has a mobile app, which I've also found invaluable when I'm traveling, even here at home without traveling. But the nice thing about this is that in our hustle to get ready to go on our trip, sometimes the one thing we forget is to stop the mail, particularly if we're going to be gone for an extended length of time. Even if you're at the airport or the bus station, however you're traveling, or you're in your car and you suddenly think, oh, I didn't stop the mail. You can go into this app and do so at that point, and it takes effect immediately. The other things that this application shows is you can look up zip codes, you can find shipping prices, you can schedule your pickups, you can delay your mail, do a variety of things, and they're constantly updating this and giving it new features. So it's one of the things that you could find in your Google Play Store or your App Store or your Apple App Store. So if you have a phone, a smartphone, this one might be one application that you will want to download and use. I think a lot of us have seen these pay terminals that are at the grocery stores. Well, most phones have a application that allows you to use the phone as a virtual wallet. And it has virtual credit cards, which are separate and apart from your regular credit card. They do not have the same numbers that your physical credit card has, but they do pay for the goods and services and charge to that account. You just download the appropriate app and install it. Samsung phones has one already built in, they call Samsung Pay. And there's also one, as we know, it's called Apple Pay. Well, both of those work in the same way. So you just pass it across the terminal and it accepts the information through something that's called NFC, I believe I got that right. And it will then go through the same motions as you would have swiped the card. So and if there's not an MFC terminal available, you just simply swipe the phone as you were using a regular credit card, as you can see here. Mobile banking was really a lifesaver for me during the pandemic. I learned to use this to my advantage. We don't have many times that we get paper checks, but there are times where you do receive those. And what I did was learn to use the mobile app. And what that involved was just taking a picture of both sides of the check. And there's an application in your bank app. In this case, it's Arvis, but Bank of America has one, and other banks have them, where you can deposit a check electronically without physically having to go to the bank. And likewise, you can always, you can view your accounts, you can transfer funds, you can do a variety of things with these apps. And it's really quite handy, particularly if you don't want to get out. The weather is inclement. There's other situations where you just cannot make it to the bank. You can use the mobile banking app. And I have not had a problem with this. As far as losing any information, I wouldn't recommend, of course, using this in a public place, but it's perfectly fine to use here in your home. PayPal is another app that I use. I do a lot of online purchases, and I use PayPal to complete those transactions. And I can do that with my phone. When I order something, of course, it'll come up and ask for the PayPal, whether you want to pay through PayPal. And of course, it shows that, and you go through all the various actions to complete the transaction. But if you want to check on how much you owe or whatever, you can use this mobile app to do so. And the nice thing about using your phone, in my opinion, is that you don't have to have or be tied to a laptop computer or a desktop computer. You can do all these functions in the palm of your hand. So you don't necessarily have to stop what you're doing and go to the computer. You can just reach in your pocket and pull out your phone and do the exact same thing. Venmo is another payment that's similar to PayPal. Matter of fact, it's owned by PayPal, or at least a subsidiary of PayPal, but it has a lot of the same functionality. And one of the things about these is that they're encrypted, so they protect your account transfers, and so it's safe, in my opinion, to use those. Of course, one of the functions of a phone is communications, and so we cannot not look at that. And there's a couple of things that makes a phone very some interesting twist, I should say, to using your phone rather when you're trying to communicate with others. One is that you can use it to learn a language. There's a really neat application that's called Duolingo, and it's sort of a game where you can learn English, Spanish, and French, and other languages through this application. And it's stepped from the very basic, and once you pass one level, you go to the next. It's patterned after games, so it becomes a really fun application to use, and you manage to learn a language. I've been trying to learn Spanish, to no avail, but most of the time I don't think about pulling this out and practicing. So you have to put a little bit of effort in to reach your goal if you're expected to learn. One of the things about it is that that I found about the Duolingo is that it's really a lot of fun. Now, if you're in a foreign country, there's a couple things you can do with Google Translate. One is that if you're trying to communicate with a person, you can just type that information into Google Translate, and it will translate it to English, and you can exchange your phone and use that as a matter of communicating with in a foreign language. And you can use it offline. It translates with no internet connection into 59 languages, and that may have increased. But one interesting story that that one of my members of my club used Google Translate for was using this camera translation. He went to he was doing some genealogy research when he was traveling on his family, and he ran across a document in a library that had some of his family history. Of course, it was not in English. He just took a picture of that, and it translated that image into English for him. But I also, if you're communicating with, if you say, for instance, you have a pen pal and you want to communicate with them in their language, Google Translate would be an ideal application to use to do that. I think we're all familiar with Skype. That's one of the early internet communication apps that was introduced by, well, it was a standalone. Microsoft subsequently purchased it, and we now know it as a Microsoft product, but originally it was a standalone. But it was kind of the early prototype of being able to communicate through chat messaging or SMS. And of course, since that time, a lot of people are using Messenger, which is a Facebook or now method of chatting. And then there's a third one that's called WhatsApp. But these have the capability that you can use on your phone to not only chat with people, but you can also transfer documents and pictures. And they're cross-platform. You can use them on an Apple device as well as a Android. And they also allow you to call landlines. And usually it's inexpensive as to making a phone call using AT&T or some of the other providers. So if you're making long distance phone calls, you might want to check and see if one of these would be cheaper than using the application or going through your cell phone or through your landline. One of the neat things about your cell phone too, it can become a remote control. You can cut down the number of remotes because you have all the applications right there on your phone, as well as controlling some of your home automation devices. But one of the things I use my phone is to as a command center for my Wi-Fi router. And I have the Linksys app on there, and I can monitor the traffic. I can reboot the router. I can do a channel synchronization just a multitudes of things I can do with the Linksys app. Now, if you have other routers, you might want to check and see if there is a appropriate app to control that router. And you'll find that it's a lot easier to use the app, the phone app, than it is to actually use your desktop or your laptop. Another application I use is referred to as the Google Home. Most of all my home automation devices, with the exception of a few, are all connected to my Google Home. It's an application that allows me to control not only my voice activated devices, but also other devices that I have in my home. And I can check and see whether they are operational. I can also turn them on or off. There's a variety of things I can do with that. And I will show that in a little bit, how that all works. Voice assistance is part of the Google experience, is that when you use the G word, the phone will pick that up, and you can use that to control your voice activated devices, not just necessarily the speaker. You can also do it through your phone. And you can also manage your schedules and get what everyday tasks. You can tell that to, through your phone, you can tell Google to set up a calendar for you, or schedule a date, do a number of things, just using your phone as the handheld device. I have a thermostat that I can also control through my phone. And if you have a smart thermostat, you probably had an app that came with it that allows you to do a lot of things from your phone. Now, one of the things that has happened when you, like I got my Nest thermostat years ago, and at the time it was the only smart device I had. So I had this Nest app installed on my phone. Well, since that time, the Google Home has come into existence, and I find I have a duplicate of the same applications. So you may not have to even download this, because you can use the one that's in another application. So keep that in mind, that you may have duplicate applications on your phone that another app is capable of doing the exact same thing. I have a smart doorbell, which I can use my phone to see who was ever at the door. And I will also demonstrate that. And I can also answer the door through the phone. So I can not necessarily have to be home to monitor my front door. And here again is another application that is referred to as Nest, and it contains the Nest thermostat, the Nest doorbell, and Nest Assistants all in one application. As I said, you might find yourself with duplicates, and but as you become more familiar with your home automation devices, you know which ones you can weed out and which ones that they're no longer necessary. As I said, I have other devices other than Google, and my Wise devices are no exception. Now they're not necessarily totally compatible with Google, so they require their own app in order to control them. But you can, if you have Wise lights or cameras or door locks and doorbells, then this would be the app that you'd have installed to control those. The same for Wi-Fi controlled light switches. You can use your phone to turn the lights on and off. When you get to entertainment, that's probably another strong suit for a phone. If you're traveling and you want to keep up with movies and videos and other news and entertainment through YouTube, you can download that application and be able to access your YouTube content. The same for YouTube TV. It's a cable-free TV where no cable box is required. It's a subscription service, but you can access that through your phone as well, or your tablet, or anything that is connected to the internet. You can able to view YouTube TV, and you can have these applications on multiple devices. There are some restrictions sometime that you can't have more than 2, maybe 3 running at the same time, but you'll be instructed as to how many devices you can have running the application. Sling TV is rather, it was kind of the precursor to a lot of streaming devices. It was probably the grandfather of streaming devices. They've sort of fallen behind in that there were other applications or companies that came out that offered the same thing. And Sling kind of got left behind because at one time they were hardware based. And of course, when the internet came about and other mobile devices such as phones and tablets and TVs that were able to stream without having a piece of hardware, Sling kind of fell behind. But it's still available. They have something called Sling TV, and they have different levels, and they are currently available for your Android and Apple devices. There's some screenshots of their application. Netflix is another streaming service that has an app that you can install on your phone. So if you have a Netflix subscription, there's no reason why you should not have a Netflix app on your phone, and you can watch those movies when you're on the go. And a lot of people always kind of cringe about the fact that, oh, I'm watching a movie on a little screen. Well, for me personally, I've not had that problem. I really kind of enjoy watching a movie on my small screen because it's rather immersive. I mean, I'm kind of focused on that screen and I can see everything. The sound is pretty decent. So it's not really a bad experience to have that available to you, particularly if you're in a location where there's no entertainment at all. And here's some screenshots of the Netflix app. If you own a Roku device, there's a Roku app that you can control the Roku streaming players. And it really mimics the physical control or the dedicated control that comes with the players, but they work exactly the same. As you can see, the controls on the app on the phone looks very much like the remote that you get with the device. And also you have the channel listings and everything that you can do on the Roku on your TV, you can do on your phone and see the same content. Now, remember when I'm talking about using these as a alternate to your regular device, in order to make them work properly, you have to use and set them up using the same user ID and password credentials. That's critical that you have the same, that you're using the same account, because what will happen is that when you first sign in, as they sign in, if you have an account, you want to sign in with that account and do not create a new one. And so therefore, whatever you do on your home device, it will sync to your mobile device. Spotify is a huge library of music. I think it's probably one of the most versatile music players available. And I say that because a lot of automobiles, a lot of speakers that you buy that are standalone has the Spotify app built into them. And not interesting, but the thing that's rather nice about this is that if you're listening to something in your house and you want to leave and continue listening to it, the same music can be on your phone at the same time, regardless if you're using a dedicated player in the house or you're using your phone, or you happen to have a player that's in your car. You can always play the same exact music, and you can go seamlessly between the two. Also, it's worth noting that Spotify is now owned by Microsoft, and it replaces the Group Music app. And here's some screenshots of the Spotify application. And in most cases, when you're playing something on Spotify, you'll see a little icon on the pardon me, on the menu bar at the bottom that looks like a little speaker. You can click on that and it'll give you the different devices that it can connect to. And so it will cast to that particular device. If you have a smart TV, you can play the Spotify content just by clicking on that. It'll pop up and you just click on it and it'll then cast to your other devices that you have that's on your Wi-Fi network. And some of the other music choices is Pandora, Com Radio, and Sirius XM. A lot of cars come with Sirius XM. And if you have that and you are paying for the subscription, you're entitled to the mobile app that you can use on your phone, and which will allow you to play that music inside your house or any place you go. Games are always fun, and there's a couple games that I like. One is Words with Friends. My brother and I, when we were kids, we loved to play Scrabble. And so this kind of is very much like Scrabble, except that it's on the internet and you can play with a variety of people. Make friends and learn new words. I like this a lot. And my only card game that I can play is Solitaire. I've never learned to play anything else. So I always have a Solitaire game up and running, and when I get time, I will try to play it. It's a lot of fun also. And the thing about the Microsoft Solitaire collection is that you can play it on any device. So if you happen to stop at one point, you can go pick it up on another one, and you don't have to start the game over with. And social media, you see kids all over the place and probably some adults that's how they keep up with their Facebook accounts, their Twitter accounts, and their Instagram accounts. All those are means of communicating with your friends and family and posting pictures and content, whatever you want to do. And the most device that is the device that's mostly used is a phone. So in summary, these are the apps that I really enjoy and have on my phone that I use on a really daily basis. So in my opinion, a smartphone is no longer just a phone in my pocket. It's kind of a hub for my daily life, or daily living rather. I use it as a calendar, a resource center, a remote control to my devices, a game board, if you want to say that, and also an instant message center. I can turn off my living room lights, get a reading of my blood pressure. All this can be done through mobile apps that work with the phone's embedded sensors and an internet connection. So for years, the technology companies have promised a connected home and connected body and a connected car, but only within the last few years have smartphones been able to provide those, the mechanism to make those connections. And I think that is due to the fact that we all have a phone, for the most part, we carry it with us. So why not utilize it to do just more than making phone calls? So with smartphone with the proper apps, it could be your command center. So before I do some questions, I was just going to show you, I had planned on doing this, I'll show you some of the things that my phone is capable of. I want to get out of this a little bit. I'm using the Microsoft Your Phone Companion. So hopefully you can see this. I'll make it a little bit bigger. This is the home screen of my phone. And as you can see, I have a Walmart account, which I didn't talk about, but this is the one that I've been using during COVID to order groceries and do a variety of things. It worked quite well. Of course, Facebook. Here's the gallery for my pictures. And then I also have a couple of folders here, but the one that I really wanted to show you was the home automation one. So here is the Google Home that I was telling you about. So when I do this, it brings up all the devices I have connected to my Google Home. So currently I have the outdoor plugs, which are controlling the Christmas lights. And it's a Wi-Fi, and it's just a single box. And since the lights that I have are on a single wire, it's just one plug that's plugged in. And I have the house lights that are lit around the eaves of the house, as well as a large tree in front. And these are all controlled here. And then, of course, I have lights in my breakfast room. I have a kitchen display that I can monitor the doorbell. And then, of course, the variety of lights here. These are my two washer and dryer, which is also connected, and I can control these when I can connect to I can turn it on, do a variety of things with that. So this is the Google Home device, and it's just a kind of a one-stop application that allows you to do a variety of things in one place. But of course, I told you earlier about some of the ones that were rather dedicated. It's like the Nest. This was one that was installed earlier, but the functionality is a little bit different because when I click on this, I can then access, this is the front door of the house. So I can see the front door. If somebody happens to come and ring the bell, this will pop up and I can then see who's at the door and I'm able to speak to them. The lower part of this is actually the thermostat in the hallway. And so I can control the heat or air conditioning. Right now it's set to be heat or cool because our weather up until this past couple of weeks has been vacillating between hot and cold. So at one time during this month, it got so warm in the house, I actually had to turn the air conditioning on. But anyway, that gives me control of that. As I told you about the router, this is my Linksys router, and I can go in if it's going to connect. Trying to do it through the, oh, there it is. All right, so now it shows my Wi-Fi connections. And so it shows the number of Wi-Fi devices that's on my network. And I can go here and it shows me, I can go to Wi-Fi settings. It tells me that information. I can do a number of other things. I can do a speed check. I can do show my account, various other things. If I want to control the lights in the house, I can use that application. And then this is all the switches where allow me to turn those on or off. But most of these are working automatically, so I don't really have to do anything with them. The Wise applications is one. Those two outdoor plugs I was telling you about. I have a Gladys, the outdoor cam. I can touch that, and then it will show me what's happening in the front of the house, and I can look at, keep abreast of what's happening there in my front yard. Herman is a robotic vacuum. This is a sprinkler system that I can control here. So I can do all that from, I usually do this all from my phone and not from my laptop computer, but through Your Companion that's in Windows 10, it or Windows 11 as well, it allows me to also be able to bring up this application and be able to access my phone. So here's a bunch of the other applications that I have. And some of these I don't even use anymore, but at the time when they were, they probably stemmed from several phones back, and I just really haven't cleaned them all out. But I do keep some things on, like I keep my insurance form. So insurance verification is available here. I have, there's that mobile passport I was telling you about. So just a variety of things that you can do that I found really convenient for me to have. Here's Microsoft Edge on my phone. So with that, I will take some questions.
question.
Okay,
Oh, sorry.
who's up here?
David has his hand up.
Sorry.
One thing I was just wondering if you, let's say a user gets a lot of these apps installed on their phone and then they buy another phone. How complicated is it to, get these apps set up on your new phone?
That's a very good question. That's the reason why you notice I have so many on there, because those came along with my previous phones. So the whole key is that your phone is actually backed up to the cloud through your Google account or your iPhone account. So when you put in that information, all your apps will come back to you. You don't have to reset up the phone. Everything will be back. This is I bought this phone, I think 2 years ago. I had a 10 and now this is a 21. It's exactly like my 10, including the wallpaper. So it's no problem to set them up. If you use your Google account, putting in your user ID and password, that will bring everything down to the cloud, including all your pictures, everything else that you had on your other phone will sync with your new phone. And they have something that's called, to make it really easy, I kind of oversimplified that. Google has something, Samsung has something they call Smart Switch. And so to make this really easy to do was I just put the old phone down and then I put in my information and it transferred the old information to the new phone with no problems.
I have a question.
Sure.
Yes. I just got a PayPal MasterCard from PayPal.
Yes.
Okay. And on it's got the chip, and right out there it's got lines like your speaker has. And it says, just touch that. I don't know what it means by when you go to, if I go to a place and it has that same signal or same picture of that, I can just touch that to that and it says it'll automatically go to that. Pay.
Exactly.
I don't know how to do that though. What stores
Oh, you
have
don't
it?
have to do anything other than just tap the card on the reader and it
On the
will.
reader.
Yeah,
Where the reader
you'll
is.
see the reader. We have a gas station here that I've done that with. I just put the card up against the reader without punching anything, and it goes ahead and reads the card.
Okay.
You're
Okay.
talking about a card that looks like this.
As I get my cards replaced, they're all coming with a Wi-Fi symbol.
It
And
had-
so
yeah, it
cool.
looks like a Wi-Fi symbol, but
That's
it's
it.
not
That's
really.
it. Yeah.
It's not. That's not a Wi-Fi. That's the NFC.
So that's what they do. Oh, that's what
reader.
they. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think most readers, you just hold it up to the screen, the display
Yeah.
on the card reader, and if it's compatible, it'll look as if you've inserted or swiped your card.
Right.
Yep.
And it works. And
Yeah,
that's
it's real handy.
that's the same thing as using your phone, tapping your the reader, the app on your phone does the
I
same
got it.
exact same thing.
I also have the app for the PayPal that I have on my phone, but I don't know how to use it yet. I don't know how to use all that stuff on the bottom of there, like your wallet where you want to pay something or you do something like that. I don't know how to use all that yet. So I'll have to-
Well, in that case, if you have to bring the card up when you're getting ready to pay something.
well, no,
You have to go to the app and bring the card up and then
oh,
tap it.
okay. Okay. So I've used it quite a bit because I can use it for gas. I can use it for groceries. I can use it, and I use it on the internet all the time because I know it's safe. So I'm happy with the card. I'm glad I got it.
Yeah, I can teach you how to send money to me if you want.
Oh,
Yeah, I hear you,
me
John.
too. Hey,
Judy, you have a question?
yes. No, I have a comment. David, every time I have gotten a new phone, I go down and I've got it at Best Buy, Walmart, Verizon, you name it. On the spot, they transfer all of my information to my new phone and boom, I'm up and running and my old phone is deader than a doornail.
Yeah,
I actually did I've, the last 2 phones, I've done it myself using that smart switch and it works beautifully. And usually what happens is that Samsung has a trade-in program where you have to take all the stuff off and you send it back to them and you wipe the old one clean and you have your new one. That's very easy to do. But just remember to set up your Google account when you get your new phone. If you do that, everything will be backed up and you won't have any problems transferring from or changing phones.
okay.
And Ira, the Wisconsin group has asked me to put a presentation together on e-wallets and how to use all that kind of stuff for their February meeting.
Oh, good, good. I'll make sure I get on that. Yes, thank you.
Mhm.
Any other questions? I'm sure I wasn't that crystal clear.
There's Dave, he's up there.
David?
Well, I was just wondering about one thing. You mentioned quite a few different ways of controlling things in the home with your phone. And for some of us, that sounds all very interesting. For some of us, that's obviously going to involve some upgrading of, for example, a thermostat and switches and so forth, light switches, if you want to control them remotely. Those things are going to have to be smart capable. So some of us would have some upgrading to do in our home before we could do some of those things.
Actually, it's not as complicated as it might sound. What it requires is that, for instance, the light bulbs, which I think are probably the easiest to change, all you need is a Wi-Fi, good Wi-Fi signal, and the bulb will replace the standard light bulb. And Google has bulbs that are bundled with a speaker, a Google speaker. They're called C bulbs. And so you just plug that, put that bulb into the light switch, and it'll just walk you through the setup.
I use the GEC. They're not Google bulbs, they're General Electric. Our thing.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah,
1,000 years.
GEC bulbs.
Bill uses the Philips Hue bulbs. He has more money than I do. I get my GEC bulbs at Lowe's. And you can change it from bright white to warm light like I have. But the thing is, you need to make sure that the base of your whatever Philips or GE bulbs or whatever you choose matches the base in the lamp, because I have one that I had to get a Wemo plug for and then plug the light into that because the base in the lamp was too shallow. And I prefer to say with the only GE bulbs because it's easier for me. That's just one app. And Bill and I would like to age in our respective places. And he's way ahead of me with his home automation. I'm lagging behind. And I just find it's really fun. I have to laugh because I can turn the bathroom light on, but I love going up and saying, turn on my hall bathroom light or my bedroom bathroom light, whatever. It's just fun to use.
And Wise has a bunch of bulbs too. They come at all price points, but in a lot of cases, it's not really a major upgrade. It's just exchanging what you currently have. Say, for instance, if you decided if you need a new thermostat, look at getting a smart thermostat.
But make sure that your old stuff is not so old you only have one wire. My youngest daughter did that, and I got their thermostat, and it's sitting in my, to-do box, so to speak. And when they upgraded theirs, their new HVAC system had 2 wires, and they got a smart device for that one.
And some of those have the workarounds for that issue. It just depends on how old your house is. But if you have a professional install it for you, because they're going to ask you, do you need a new thermostat or you need a new thermostat? They'll make sure you get one that's compatible. Bob?
Yeah, I use the Wise light bulbs. Number one, because they're pretty darn cheap,
Yes.
and you control them either through your smartphone or Miss A or Mr. G, either. So you have 3 ways to go with how you control them. And if you have an iPhone, you use your iPhone.
And the thing about that is, I think for seniors particularly, is that there's no need for us trying to stumble through a dark house.
Yep.
To get to the bathroom or to the kitchen, when from your bedroom, you can say, turn on the light and you have a lighted way.
Mhm.
Because you never know when there's something in the middle of the floor that you forgot that you left, and you'll find yourself taking a tumble. And at my age particularly, I don't want to have any broken bones and be laid up for months at a time as a result of that. So I think light bulbs are, in my opinion, really an essential that you should try to invest in.
And when I leave my family room and I get to a certain spot in my dining room, I say, Mr. Turn on the bathroom, the light, which is the hall bathroom. And I turn the corner into the hall and the light comes on. And reverse, when I go to bed at night, I get to the same place in the dining room and I'll say, turn on my bedroom lights, and I turn around just for grins, because sometimes they thank me for asking them to do it. I miss that. And I have him turn off my family room lights. And, it's just, like I said, go in the garage. Hey, turn on the garage. I can flip that switch just fine. But
And you can, and it's, you can tell it to turn on all the lights at one time just by saying, hey, whoever, turn all the lights on, and every light in the house will come on that's connected. And likewise, you can turn them all off. So there's lots of benefits from having lights. Yes, Bob.
Oh, I haven't taken it down, sorry.
Oh,
And it's like my daughter's mother-in-law, she has 2 bolts to do on her front door. And I'm encouraging to ask her daughter, who gives her this kind of stuff, to go along with her doorbell to get an automatic lock, because she's kind of fumbling around and it's taking, when she could just key in some numbers and boom, it would open. But if you go there, make sure you get one that also has a key, just in case the battery dies, if it's battery operated or the electricity has gone out. So
well,
get it with a key. I've used it once when my battery died and I didn't realize it.
I forgot to mention that I do have, I bought a Wise door lock, which I really like. And it replaces just the deadbolt part. I didn't have to change the key. So my old key still works. It just has this control box that's on the back side of that. And it has 2 batteries, which seem to have last a long time. But I can tell my G device to open the front door or unlock the front door. And then it'll ask me for my pass key. So I give it the number and it'll say, okay, and it will unlock the door. And the thing about that I really like, the reason why I got it was I very seldom go out the front door, but inevitably, every time I would go out, I would come back and I would forget to turn the deadbolt. So there's been a couple days where the front door has been unlocked and I did not know it. But now the door locks itself. So when I come in, it automatically locks the door. I don't have to bother with it anymore. And these are simple. I mean, the Wise products, I think Bob will attest to that, are really easy to set up. I'm kind of all thumbs when it comes to setting up a lot of stuff, but I was able to install that with no problem. And they give you the tape and everything you need to work with, including the screwdriver. It was just a a piece of cake to install. Even setting it up to the Wi-Fi wasn't a problem.
Once you get used to how they work, yeah, they've become very, very simple.
Yeah. Now the doorbell, not the doorbell, but the lock has another module. Well, it has two modules. One, it has a little repeater that's plugged into an outlet in the hall, which talks to the doorbell through Bluetooth. I mean, I'm sorry, keep saying doorbell, door lock through Bluetooth. You don't have to do anything with that. It's just have to pair the two together. And then, of course, you have the app on the phone where you can unlock and lock the door as well. The other thing, let's see, what else was odd about that? I guess that's really about it. But it was really quite simple to use.
I have
And all these
their,
things is, go ahead.
I have their alarm system, so my house is protected by Wise. And that takes care of the door openings, that takes care of motion detection. And a bunch of cameras are all hooked in. And then, of course, you have your different settings, either totally unprotected or your home. So it checks the outside circumference of the house, but nothing inside is active. Otherwise, your motion detection would go bananas. So, and then you have the one when you're away from home. And it's nice to be able to see your house through the cameras. It's nice to know that if somebody tries to get in there, you will wind up knowing about it because you get notified, and also automatically they notify the police, and their monitoring is $5 a month. And I was paying $15 a month through another. And when I needed to change, either upgrade their service or look for something else, I said, heck, why am I paying $15 a month when I can pay $5 a month for outside monitoring when I'm away from home? So,
And you use the app on your phone to monitor the cameras.
Yep.
Like I showed you, I could see the front door and the front yard. And I have a third camera that I have on a mantle, which is a different brand, but I also view that through my phone as well. And it doesn't matter. I mean, I've done it across town as long as I have my phone with me and it's charged. I mean, I can go and just open the app up, and you don't need the Wi-Fi for that. It'll just go through the cellular towers to connect to the devices in your house.
I have an old
So-
phone that I added the Wise app to, and it has my cameras displayed right on it, and it's right in front of me. So when I'm sitting at the computer, screen's here, and right up here, I have the cameras all laid out. So I can see what's going on outside, what's going on in different parts of the house. And I can either show all of them in little dots like we do here in the Zoom,
Mhm.
or I can select a particular camera, and then that takes up the whole screen.
And
That
it-
is can be a disadvantage, as Bob's pointed out, that some of these devices are only accessible through a phone. That you can't use, there's not an app to put on your computer or a laptop. You have to use the phone in order to control them. So
Or
that could be a disadvantage.
Or your tablet.
Or you could use a tablet, yes.
Yep.
But it has to be a mobile device.
Yeah, here I'm not controlling them. I'm simply watching.
Just
I have all my cameras side by side, and it holds 4 on a phone or a tablet, whatever. So I can look at 4 cameras at the same time.
So for old tired eyes, a tablet works just fine at home.
Yep.
And Bill has controlled his devices when he's been on overseas travel. I was watching my oldest kid's house. They were going to Philadelphia, and she neglected to tell me how that new thermostat worked. They've had a thermostat forever. And I called my grandson, and they had just landed in Philly. Mother was supposed to tell you how to fix that. And he immediately put the AC at the temperature that I wanted, rather than what they had it set at. and it worked perfectly and boom. So really easy to use and fun to have.
And
Mary
very-
Frances here, Bill.
Yes, Mary.
The husband of the, wait a minute, the husband of the head of the household has a question for you.
Sure.
Do you have unlimited data service?
I do.
Thank you.
But I don't think, now the data plan that you're talking about is like your Cox or, what's that other brand you all have? Spectrum or Verizon. Is that the likelihood that you'll go over the allotted amount using your home devices is remote. The only time that you run into running, and this is why I have unlimited, is because I stream all my TV programs, which includes movies. That uses a huge amount of data. But just your lights and things that you use on a regular basis, I don't think you'll go over. I would be
That's what-
surprised.
That's why I asked you that.
Yes,
Thank you.
that's the only reason why I have unlimited is because of I stream my TV programs. I don't have cable. I cut my cord.
Sure.
What I did, I just moved one bill to another bill. And I don't think, although the interesting thing, I don't know if anyone, I have YouTube TV, and they made a startling announcement, is that they were not able to successfully negotiate with Disney. And so Disney has pulled all their Disney programs off of that platform. And they're lowering their bill by $15. I
They
never
just-
heard of a company ever doing that.
I just got the email. They negotiated and they're back up.
Oh,
They're
that was short-lived.
a $15 rebate on the one time, but just for your inconvenience. But yes, they're back up and running.
Oh, I was so hoping. I said, oh, wow. I said, I've never heard of any company ever giving back, money because of that. Usually they say, well, they're expensive. Well, anyway, it was nice.
Could
to
you
know
tell them
that.
I don't want Disney back and keep your $15 discount?
Well,
And it's all bundled.
it's
Yep.
all bundled together. That was the problem. And see, it can be a duplicate because you have Disney Plus and you have
Yeah, we have Disney. Yeah.
YouTube, then you have some duplications with that.
Yeah,
But anyway, I still like it. I mean, I prefer my YouTube TV than I did my Cox. Because
And
I
he-
can actually control what I want to watch.
And
You
record it.
neglected to say
Go ahead.
bill is less expensive now than the original cable bill with all of this stuff in it.
Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
Well, Jim, that's good to know. Thank you.
John, have you guys had a cut the cord presentation?
Yes, we have.
You have? Okay.
Everyone has a different approach of how to do that, but and it's something, I mean, it's kind of daunting at first. You just have to just say, I'm going to do it and go for it. And then let the chips fall where they may. But so far, I haven't regretted doing it at all.
Was going to do it, but Alice had a certain channel that we were not able to get on YouTube TV. And because of it, we're now stuck with Dish for another year.
Oh,
Because it was a
what program
two-year
was
sign up.
that?
It's now available on YouTube
I
TV,
was-
but it wasn't at the time. So
Oh, yeah, because I was thinking that
Yep.
they have a,
Yeah. Mhm.
I know a lot of folks they love that Hallmark channel.
that's
and,
still on.
Oh,
That's
well,
still
yeah, it's on there.
Yeah, I know it is now. It wasn't at the time.
Yeah,
But we've got 1 year left in our 2-year contract. And then I'll be saying, bye-bye Dish.
Yeah, I haven't really regretted it. Hallmark wasn't one I watched, but I know there was, I talked to some friends and their better halves wanted the Hallmark channel.
Yep.
Ira, we can't hear what you're saying. You're muted.
I think I'm a little bit late, right?
A
No,
little bit.
you're a question, you're not late.
I like the Hallmark channels and I like the Hallmark mysteries they have on there. And that's one of the things I like. But I was gonna do that Roku and I got scared, so I'm with DirecTV.
Oh,
Oh, that's the worst of the whole bunch.
Yeah.
I got away from DirecTV and changed over to
Not
Dish.
not DirecTV. I'm with what's the Spectrum. I'm with Spectrum.
Oh, well, okay.
Oh, the cable.
Spectrum here in the,
Because the Roku channel has a lot of stuff. I don't know if the Hallmark is part of that, but some of those you have to pay a fee to add.
Yes.
They're called
Yep.
add-ons.
right. When you add on, if you add on everything you want on there, you might as well stay with the way I looked at it, you might as well stay with what I'm paying now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, there are some things that like I'm not into sports or anything, so I don't have to subscribe to that. I only take what they provide, but
Yeah.
in some cases like Cox, it was a whole different ball game. I haven't regretted changing.
Okay. One of these days I'll get the guts and I'll do it.
3 times now.
Yeah.
Yeah, so.
and Ira, when he said your better half, I translated that in my head immediately to men because I knew he was coming at it from a sexist point. A woman. Baloney.
Right. Yeah. Yep.
Everett, did you have a question?
Well, I knew I was supposed to, be on here today at 2:00 or whatever. I got fiddling around with stuff here at home and I totally forgot about it until just about 5 minutes ago. And by the way, I didn't get the invitation this time. I happen to have the old, the address and everything and the password, but I didn't get the invitation.
Did you
I
have
didn't either.
did you have a question about phones in general?
No, but let me ask this. Everett, aren't you on Windstream?
Yeah, right.
My guess is that Windstream's filter blocked Kenneth's email because the rest of us got it, and it's mostly the Windstream people that didn't. So
I got it.
you
Mary,
did
Mary
it,
Frances did not get it.
right? You're on Windstream.
I got it. On Wednesday.
Everett, it was recorded. I can see it up there in the left-hand corner, so you can watch it later.
Okay, so you're going to send it on to YouTube then?
No, I just recorded it to the cloud. So however you get it.
Well, I record it here and I do. And it, I have the file, then I send it to YouTube
Oh,
with, for
Jim
LCCS.
can send you the link to the cloud recording. And then you'll be able to download it and edit it and send it up to.
Everett usually runs it. So when he logs into his Zoom account, he just downloads it. Doesn't have to worry about the link.
yeah.
'Cause it's
Well,
up-
but I have to get the video in the first place.
Yeah, it's up. It's in the Zoom's cloud storage. So you just log into Zoom like you always do, and then you have to download it from Zoom.
Oh, well, I'll try that. Okay. It's going to take a while because those things are usually,
Yep.
pretty close to 1 gigabyte.
Yep.
I got
I'm
one
gonna
more
go ahead
question.
and stop the recording now.